I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just to always be on go time. I thank the clouds that I'm free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lies, slip and get up. Thinking about the bullshit, leading right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, quick tail catching up. Born into that trench mind, niggas had no straight mind. Only thing we know is break a bitch and push that bread line. Head be filled with crazy shit like shorty, had my head tied like bitch. So now you ain't coming to me about no bedtime. Ain't no keep it real, I really feel like the pressure is really on me. I know pressure is a bitch, but I don't let feelings control me. I know I've been getting cold and my niggas was flaking on me. So I had to bet some bitches at some parties. But don't blame me for it, don't blame me for it. I'm too cheap for it. Just watch me going, no brakes. Just keep top speed flooring. Bless me, test me, line me up, I know that I'm the next thing. Praying so don't catch me and arrest me. Hope that every night I make it in my best sleep. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just to always be on go time. I thank the clouds that I'm free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just to always be on go time. I thank the clouds that I'm free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lies, slip and get up. You ain't about the bullshit, leading right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, control catching up. Alright, I ain't resist, but don't take my chain. No, you can't search my shit. Know how it goes. These just praying that shit. Give me my chance before my grave is dig. Bless me, test me, line me up, I know that I'm the next thing. Praying so don't catch me and arrest me. Hope that every night I make it in my best sleep. I hope I'm never sitting courtside. Shit happened so quick it felt like there was no time. Body was programmed just to always be on go time. I thank the clouds that I'm free. This ain't shit that all the homies can be. Running from the lies, slip and get up. Thinking about the bullshit, leading right up. Mama told me one day you run out of luck. Now I'm looking up, quick tail catching up. Catching up.
Beats, baby.
Elevate my hustle, gotta get your stress. Cause you the kind of girl I wanna make to my wife. Ain't no point that anyone can make a know they ain't right. They can't tell me how I feel or what could be in my life. For all the minds I kill, told you many times you really mine for real. Cause something about your eyes always shine for real. Stick it out with me as you gon' sign the deal. For all the minds I kill, told you many times you really mine for real. Cause something about your eyes really shine for real. Stick it out with me as you gon' sign the deal, yeah. Little crazy light, baby, feeling on her lately. Heavy on my mental, so I'm in a booth for wavy. See me, I don't give a fuck, I'm open, I ain't shady. These niggas see it, so they hating. Sipping bottles again, dug in all of the feds. Putting loaves inside the cover, we ain't splitting no bread. Getting all these different fabrics off your neck and your head. Hope that karma ain't gon' get me for what's coming ahead. My baby says she wanna love song. 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 I'ma sing her this love song. Song. Yeah, I'm singing to elevate my hustle, gotta get your stress. Cause you the kind of girl I wanna make to my wife. Ain't no point that anyone can make a know that ain't right. They can't tell me how I feel or walk a day in my life. For all the miles I kill, told you many times you really mine for real. Cause something about your eyes always shine for real. Stick it out with me as you gon' sign the deal. For all the miles I kill, told you many times you really mine for real. Cause something about your eyes really shine for real. Stick it out with me as you gon' sign the deal, yes.
Hey y'all. Hey. Oh boy, oh boy. Hey y'all. Hey. What's good, everybody? Yeah. Yep. I'm still getting my voice back. Drinking tea. So I hope everybody's doing all right. Day Allen, Original Intellect, Focused Mind, Carlos, Bridget, hey, Kahi, David, Demita, hey, Sammy. Hope Dane pop up here. But this is a good topic. I didn't want to disturb him today, him and his family. But if I see him pop in the chat, I'll put the link in there for him. I'd love to have this conversation with him. But I wanted to talk about a few things today. I want to talk a little bit about President Trump, Jasmine Crockett, the wild ghetto attorney / senator from Texas. I want to talk about Elon Musk a little bit, get into updates on the deportation and like what's next for us, So this is what I want to get into today. I'm drinking tea. So this is what I want to actually get into today. So hey, Will. Hey, what's good? Well, so, oh my goodness. I want to first share a video that Curious sent me. Just so people know, and the problem that we're up against with Pan-Africans, because a lot of Pan-Africans are not us. And I'm just going to keep it a buck. But let's share what Curious sent and where man specifically put out some great pointers about our history. So let's get into it. Let me do a share screen. Ooh. Hey, Kataba Cam. Let's just get into it a little bit. See what he has to say. Some of you probably already seen this video, but I like to play it. Let me put my headphones on so I could listen too. I'll play it twice to make sure you hear it.
The indigenous people of the entity called America, called the United States of America. Everything else came from elsewhere. Your culture is the only one that came from right there, because you were cut off from everything else. There's nobody else like that. There's nobody else like that in the world. There's no other culture like that in the world. You're the indigenous people of the entity called America, called the United States of America. Everything else came from elsewhere. Your culture is the only one that came from right there, because you were cut off from everything else. There's nobody else like that. There's nobody else like that in the world. There's no other culture like that in the world. You're the indigenous people of the entity called America, called the United States of America. Everything else came from elsewhere. Your culture is the only one that came from right there, because you were cut off from everything else. There's nobody else like that. There's nobody else like that in the world. There's no other culture like that in the world.
Facts.
You're the indigenous people of the entity called America, called the United States of America.
Yep.
Everything else came from elsewhere. Your culture is the only one that came from right there.
Yep.
Because you were cut off from everything else.
That's a fact.
There's nobody else like that. There's nobody else like that in the world. There's no other culture like that in the world.
It's not.
You're the indigenous people of the entity called America, called the United States of America.
Facts.
Everything else came from elsewhere. Your culture is the only one that came from right there, because you were cut off from everything else. There's nobody else like that. There's nobody else like that in the world. There's no other culture like that in the world.
Facts. So I thought that was pretty interesting to hear. And like I said, other people are not ignorant to our culture. Chief, you're still under the weather, but you're so strong and love our people so much. You can't stop. You can't stop improving our people. Oh, thank you. Well, hey, Rodney, Kataba, Mother Hated Bronx Flat Power. Hey, Charlene. Hey, sweetheart. Hey. So I thought I'd share that. Actually, I feel good. It's just that my voice, I got to get it back. It's the medicine that they got is really working. It doesn't hurt when I talk anymore. The acid reflux erosion is what hurts me sometimes during the year. And it's like it happens every time in the winter, no other season. So it'll get better. My voice actually comes in and out, in and out, in and out. So it's okay. I'm going to keep going because I'm strong like that. But I thought that was an enlightening thing to hear, because we are a very different people and we are from this soil. Now, not every brown person that you see, and this is the ignorant of the different governments and the different foreigners that come over here and get in these politically powerful positions. Their ignorance, because they're going by history written by these HBCUs and these paid agents to keep our true history as a people hush hush. But what they forgot is, and what they weren't aware of, is that later, that as a people, we would enhance our learning abilities, and the manner in which the United States is structured and how it functions, and how we can research these things, to stand on our truth as a people. Now, you have these people who are finding out that they are have African ancestry, and they want to like drag you and clone you in with them. But that's not the case. I'm from here. I will always be from here. I love my soil. And, you know, everybody has their own personal opinions. I don't think that the United States system is a bad system. What happens is we have bad leadership. You can have a great system set up for everybody to benefit from, but when you have bad leadership, that's the problem right there. Because I don't think that there's anything wrong with going to school, as a child, finishing all your 12 years of high school, taking up a trade, okay, and then getting a job or opening a business utilizing those skills. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And to hear other people in YouTube scream and accuse you of being boule and sell out to your people is mind-boggling to me. Okay, everybody makes different choices in their life. We all do. We are not perfect. I don't know any perfect beings. Okay, we make horrible decisions in our personal lives and in our business lives. We do, but that's not to say that the system's bad. Okay, there's people that are in it for scamming reasons. There are people who generally just want to work, pay whatever bills they have, and live a life, raise their families to repeat the same thing. Okay, and I will fall in that category. I don't want all the pie. That's just being excessively greedy. There's enough pie to go around. There is. And I think everybody deserves a piece of the pie. Okay. And to me, I don't have a problem with working. I don't. I think that's what one should do. Destroying the community is something I can't involve myself in. Some people don't have a problem doing that and they never look back. Okay. Everybody makes different choices in lives. Okay. But you have to affiliate with the people that have like minds like you. And everybody that has a like mind like you, okay, is not going to be in your current culture. Because if they were, our community would be flourishing successfully. And to get our community to flourish successfully is not somebody else's problem. I think we spend way too much time pointing fingers at the white guy. And I think that's been a real problem in our community. Now, do management and our political leaders make bad choices and bad decisions? Yep, they do. Do they target people? They do. They do. But like I said, the system, the United States system, economically, and as far as having a career, it's nothing wrong with it. I think it's a beautiful thing, the United States. Okay. I think it's beautiful. I'm not going to sit up here and badmouth a system that I benefit off of working, doing positive things that you're instructed to do. I obey the law. I don't disobey the law. So if you don't disobey the law, you don't have to worry about this negative behavior towards you. You literally have to affiliate yourself with the people that have decent mindsets. You got to separate yourself from the angry, low vibrational energy people. You do. And that's a fact. And that's what I choose to do. Okay. There are people that I just can't have in my company. And I'm sure they feel the same way about me too. And that's okay. But I will not tear down something. Okay. If I'm somebody who's never benefited from the system in a positive manner because I chose not to indulge in the opportunities that are afforded in a system, I can't knock it. if I'd never tried it. But you have people that do knock it. Talking on YouTube and planning and goal setting is not the place to do it. It's really not. All right. We talk about, creating a 51st state. Now Trump's saying he wants to create 3 more cities. And I don't blame him. They're listening to our YouTube channels. They are. Congress is listening to our channels. And we're giving them great ideas. And there's nothing wrong with that. If I were to create a 51st state, in my 51st state, there would be no benefits for people who just sit on their ass and do nothing. There will only be programs that help people that are honestly working and have tried to work but lost their job. Then we have benefits to help that individual. But people, not for it will not be for you. Wouldn't even be able to get in my state unless you have a damn job. If you don't have a job, you wouldn't be able to be a citizen in my state. I'm sorry. You wouldn't. The only people that would be able to come in the 51st state I create, you have to have a job. A job. You have to have an income. You have to be somebody that works. There will be no pity programs, pity handout programs. Now, the unemployment, yeah, those types of things, yes. But this free Section 8 shit, no. You're going to work every day and pay taxes like everybody else does, because taxes is what makes a state function and a federal government. Okay? Seriously. Taxes. Now, you have what you call bad management and bad leadership when they take those tax dollars and use them for outside sources. And it's wrong. It's wrong because we get no real explanation. And we're going to get into that a little bit. Seriously. Taxes is what makes a country function. It makes the world go round. For a state. Now, I'm talking about for a state. And we do need a strong, powerful military that we need to fund. We need that. Otherwise, who wants to be a soft country? We need powerful militia. We do. But there needs to be better care on how our tax dollars are being applied by leadership. So, and that's a fact. But we'll get into other things a little later. But because I want to talk about some things, and I'm going to share. I'm not monetizing today, by the way. So if you feel like you want to send something, hello, Chief Hawkeye. Hey, Curious. Enoch, Lou, the real Autonomous Defense. How y'all doing? CU time 67. So let me just share some information. Let's watch a few segments of other people's channels that I find to be interesting. We're going to start off with Officer Tatum. I like him. I think he's a really swell guy. I do. All right. Got the audio on. All right, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, welcome back to another Officer Tatum show. Are y'all ready for this?
I think he's a great guy.
No, I'm just playing. All right, let's get to the tariffs.
Can y'all hear it? Give me one.
I'm just saying. I'm just here to report the news. I'm not here to be on your side or be on somebody else's side. I'm just here to report the news. Remember when Trudeau got on the camera?
Can y'all hear him? Officer Tatum, please give me a 1. All right, thank you. Here we go.
And made all those claims as if he can whoop Donald Trump or something. Like he the big bad wolf, and he's somehow gonna come and tell Trump what to do, and that he'll affect America in a significant way with tariffs because Donald Trump decided to do XYZ. Well, your boy punked out. Just so you know, if you're a Canadian right now, I'm not talking about my Canadian Americans, meaning that my Canadians who should be Americans. They just so happen to be born in Canada. I'm talking about the other Canadians. Just so you know, your boy Trudeau punked out. Just so you know, Donald Trump, the day before the tariffs were to be enforced, he backed off of them because Canada decided to do what he asked them to do. And it is protected from drugs coming in this country and illegal aliens coming across the northern border. So did the Mexican government. So Whoopi and that fake Mexican on there and the other fake Republican on there and all the rest of the menopausal women on there, don't get mad at me. It's a joke. Kinda. Y'all perfect. They bad. They suffering from it. Y'all owe Trump an apology. Oh, the country is going to come to an end. See, Trump, this is not what they voted for. Trump policies. His tariff tactic is working. Now, all we got to do is get China on board, right? And I think that I can see that Donald Trump knew what he was doing with the other two. I think he knows what he's doing with China. But let's go to Scott Jennings because Scott Jennings is always whooping their head. He is the greatest thing that ever happened to CNN. Probably one of the greatest things that happened to the conservative movement in a long time because he has access to the other side. And it's so much fodder watching him whoop these people into oblivion. Roll the clip.
He's either gotten more in the past or it was already announced in the past.
I disagree. First of all, I think the reason he did this is one simple phrase, behavior modification. He's trying to modify the behavior of our neighbors, and he's already having some success with these strategies. If you look at what he did with Colombia, if you look at what the news was over.
Nothing happened with Colombia either.
If you look,
They were taking deportation flights.
I love this show.
No.
This is my favorite show. It's
Because
called,
you're lying.
Let's all scream at
No,
Scott.
it's called informing our audience.
Hold on.
Colombia was already taking deportation flights.
Change
No,
the subject
I'm not.
to Colombia.
I'm wrapping it all
Let's go
together.
back.
It's all part of the same
Let's go
thing.
back to what Trump got for threatening a 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada. What did he get?
On
Scott?
Mexico, he got a permanent set of troops, not temporary, just during surges. He got permanent troops. And on Canada, let me tell you what he got. Let me tell you what he got.
You cannot just, hold up. You can't just like insert your own qualifications into this. Where does it say that it's permanent?
The White House told me tonight that the commitment they have for Mexico is that they will
Do you know how many troops Mexico?
You didn't let us finish on Canada, by the way, because he did get new things on Canada, which I'm sure you know. Justin, and I'm just going to read you Justin Trudeau's own statement. Canada is making new, and if I'll define it for you, that means not previously existing commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar, list cartels as terrorists, ensure 24/7 eyes on the border, launch a joint task force to make money laundering and organized crime.
Richard, I'm going to let you in here. But
This is all new. It's all new.
Hold on.
Can I say something
Hold
before
on.
we go to
Richard, just give me 1 second. 1 second. We got to make sure that this is clear because you just put fentanyl on the table figuratively.
Yeah.
They're 43 pounds.
Thank God it's not literal because it'll kill you.
43 pounds of fentanyl.
I wouldn't recommend ingesting
from
it.
Canada, from the northern border. Okay, that's not 4,300, not 43,000, 43. Richard.
Okay, so we got this, knew this and knew that, and there's
Time out. Hold on. Let's do a little research. I want somebody to look up for me how much fentanyl is fatal. I know the answer to this, but I want to get a statistical number so I can show you. They say only 43 pounds of fentanyl. Do you know how crazy 43 pounds of fentanyl is? Now we're gonna do the numbers for you. How much fentanyl is fatal? It's got to be ounces.
3 ng per ml. You know what ng is?
I don't know what ng is. It's some ng per milliliter, or yeah, it's probably something crazy. It's way more potent than 2 milligrams will kill you. Okay, 10 milligrams. How many milligrams are in a pound? How many milligrams would be in a pound? And we'll see. So 2 milligrams of fentanyl will kill a grown man. I mean, probably instantly. 453,000 milligrams per pound. So 453,000, then multiply that times 43. 453,000 milligrams per pound. You got to divide that by 2. So about 200,000 people would die. Okay, multiply that by 43 because it was 43 pounds. So let's see how many people. That's 43 pounds of fentanyl will kill 9,700,000 people. But it's only 43 pounds. 43 pounds of fentanyl could kill 9,700,000 people. Let's go to.
That's crazy. That's insane.
Nick, use that same number, that 200,000 number, multiply that by 21,000. How many people would that kill? That's got to be over 200 billion. 204 billion people will die just from the fentanyl that come from the southern border. 250 billion people. That means everybody in the world will die. I don't know how many times over.
Wow.
What are y'all talking? Can y'all do some research? You laughing at 43 pounds of fentanyl, which will kill 9.7 million people.
Correct.
You can't make this stuff up. You see them arguing with this man. Scott Jennings is whooping their head. What do you say?
He killed the whole world 25 times.
Yeah, killed the whole world 25 times in a row.
Wow. Wow.
With as much fentanyl that's coming to America from the north and the south.
Wow.
But y'all cool with that though. You cool with that number. Fentanyl is probably the leading cause of death for young men and women in this country in a certain age group, probably between the age of 21 to 35. The opioid crisis is a real thing. Fentanyl, I done had 3 of my football teammates die from fentanyl. I know they died from fentanyl. One died in the hotel. 2 of them, they didn't say, but allegedly they overdosed on something. Fentanyl. 3 guys that I played ball with that should be in their 30s right now, dead. That's just me.
Wow.
When I was a cop, people were dying from fentanyl every week.
Yeah.
We used to have people OD once a week. I don't know, once or 2 or 3 times a month. Fentanyl was so bad in 2017 that people were dying every single day.
Yeah.
I went to a couple of them a week.
That's a
Trying to
fact.
give them Narcan. Every police officer in the police department was given Narcan, which is that stuff you squirt in their nose and then bring them back to life. That's how bad it was. We couldn't test a single drug without wearing an entire hazmat suit from the foot to the head, because if you get fentanyl touched on your skin, you will die.
Wow.
You could die. You inhale fentanyl, you could die. 43 pounds of fentanyl. Ha ha ha. That's not a bit. Trump didn't. Roll the clip.
Was it worth pissing off and offending Canada, which is one of your closest allies? Was it worth all the angst, the drama, the raw emotion when you could have had it with a negotiation?
There was a negotiation, dummy.
You seem to be extraordinarily worked up about what amounted to 12 hours of conversations between our governments. And the net result of it was everybody who didn't want tariffs should be, like you, should be happy. Everybody who wants less immigration should be happy. And everybody who wants less fentanyl, we should all be saying it's a
We are back at the status quo.
Back to bite in a way. First of all, Colombia. Second of all, Mexico. Third of all, Canada. Then you've got the European Union. All these allies are going to remember that they were bullied at the edge of a...
No, they're going to remember that the United States is the dominant nation.
Oh,
There you go. There you
And
go.
we have a president. And now we have a president.
There you go.
Yeah.
People who are buying goods every day. Those are the people who are caught in this chaos. It's not a game of chicken.
No tariffs were levied.
But
none were levied.
Okay,
But it's the
but
zero.
no,
It's the
but-
uncertainty and the
Okay,
chaos.
first of all,
It's one day.
Trump is now threatening to tariff.
But we
why would
didn't.
anybody?
We have a deal.
We have
You
a
guys- you
30-day
gotta-
deal
Yeah, but
for
you guys-
nothing.
You guys
30
read
days.
your talking points 12 hours ago. It's 10 o'clock. Look what happened in the
There you go. Right.
Nothing.
Hello.
3 people got together and said, you know
We
what,
will
Trump
do
is right and
exactly
we'll
what
help
we-
you.
And you
No,
know,
You
they
and I will
said
have
we
to
will
agree to
do
disagree
exactly-
about that.
Passing
I'm
our
still in
people.
shock that you actually said that the border crossings went down under Biden.
But-
They
because
did
did
go down under
They did
Biden.
go.
You know why?
Alice,
You know why?
Alice.
Alice?
This is like so
But-
disingenuous.
But the
Scott, do you accept that tariffs are inflationary?
I accept that tariffs are taxes. And I
There you
accept
go.
that I accept that some prices could go up. And Bakar, you're right. Donald Trump said that you may feel some pain, but let me tell you why he said it. Because fentanyl is a scourge on this country. Illegal immigration and the violence that's come with it is a scourge on this country, and we have a moral obligation.
But let us be
moral obligation.
Let us be also honest.
These people, y'all pray for them. Pray for them, because they spend their whole life lying. They spent all day yesterday crying about tariffs and how it's inflationary. No tariffs were imposed, at least on Mexico and Canada, because we did something called negotiating. Correct. Something that the other presidents somehow, some way did not know how to do. They just gave it up.
Yep.
Like a girl with no daddy. Let me not say that. Yep. They just gave it up.
Yep.
Maybe a bad father. No father and a bad father, the same thing. They just gave it up. No reservation, no talking, no arguing, no debating, no nothing. Donald Trump said, I want you to do this. They say we ain't doing nothing. He said, I'm going to put them tariffs on your, and you're going to do what I tell you to do. Do y'all want to play or do you want to do business?
There you go.
And they said, we're going to stand strong. Then they got to the paper. Somebody tell it, get Trudeau in here. You better sign this.
There you go.
Before Trump put the country in debt.
There you go.
And buy it for half of the price.
There you go.
Y'all better quit playing with our president. I don't know how many times I got to say this. This is the difference between cowards and real men. People who are not qualified. Their only qualification is because somebody somewhere thought that they were cool enough, so they validated them, but they have no substantial qualifications, no life experience. They have done nothing but get a piece of paper that say they accomplished something. The paper has accomplished more than they have ever accomplished. And then you get a man who genuinely been in the gutter, genuinely had to do negotiations, failed, came back, failed, made a name for himself, built a reputation, had to communicate with people across the world. You get somebody that really they're really credentialed. And they really care about the American people, unlike these other fools that claim they do. This is the result. Day one, he doing what he said he was going to do the first time he said he was going to do it. He would have done this in 2016 if they wasn't trying to kill the man every day and bashing his name in the media and investigating after investigation after investigation after rhino after, I mean, but they don't want him to be good. They don't want to celebrate the fact that they claimed that tariffs were going to hurt us. No tariffs were imposed. They claim they care about fentanyl, and then they say that we're going to do something about it, both our northern and southern border. And they mad. They can't be happy. Y'all got to stop this, man. And we got to call these people out. You're fake. You're fraud. The man is doing what he said he's going to do. That's why we voted for him. And that's why most of America voted for him. He won the popular vote. Don't forget that.
It is. All right. So that's one video that I wanted to share, which makes sense to me. I agree. I agree with them. I really do. Fentanyl is dangerous. Impose the tariffs. It is what it is. And I agree with them. So now let's get to this protest of Elon Musk, where Jimmy Kimmel humiliates the Democrats over delusional protests against Elon Musk. Let's go there. Fair use. Fair use. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Let's get it.
Stand with you in this fight, and we will win. 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 We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest.
Oh, we are so irate.
I was wondering what he was going to say.
We are doomed. All these old men. Look at who we have running this country.
Are the Doge people here? Are they in this building now?
We are 8 employees currently. That's all I know. I don't know specific who Doge is or any of that. I just know that 8 employees are here. Although, as you are all aware, it's in the press. Everybody's been asked to telework or select people here to provide services for the agency. So the rest of them are all telework. Are you career? I am. Are you? Thank you. As well.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. We want to thank you for your service. So there's no opportunity
No, unfortunately, I don't control that. I'm just here to pass along the information. Thank you for coming, and I'm sure Department of State will be putting more information for sure.
Are you keeping that one more time?
No, I have not seen the civil servant. I have gray hair like today. No, absolutely, just gray hair. That's it. That's the senior part of me. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you guys. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep, see you soon. Okay, take care. Thank you.
So they were trying to go see the Doge people.
Who knows, bro?
They're trying to go in the Doge office.
Yeah, but like
And
they
do
really
what? Investigate them, shut them down, stop them. They can't do that. Hey.
like what do they?
By the way, the 3 gentlemen that you see, they're really great. I love these guys. Willie loved these guys, and this is what I'm talking about. These 3 gentlemen, they're probably millennials, maybe Gen Z. I don't know. I'm gonna guess that they're millennials, and I love them because their behavior that they're exercising on the piano is nothing like what goes on in YouTube. And I respect them because they're into what's going on in our country. And I really appreciate them. So, I mean, I could wish that one of these gentlemen were my sons. But let's just watch their behaviors. And this is why I said I love millennials, because they're the strong ones for us. They're the ones that's going to keep us informed. And they're men like this.
They think they're doing
They think as government officials, they have the right to do that.
the protesting. That is just asinine. Actually,
They're a bunch of theater kids. Everything in the Democratic Party is all symbolism and for show. They just want to make it look like they're doing something, cause a ruckus.
so seeing the DNC event they just had and the people that just won, and then seeing these people outside the Capitol protesting, you think the Democrats are going anywhere? Do they think they're going anywhere with this?
No, they're not switching up the tactic, but a lot of the smart ones knew if they didn't do that, then they're going to get the same result. But what I'm confused about is they are protesting against, okay, I see the immigration thing, whatever. What are you protesting against here? We're just
The
trying to
USAID.
cut government spending.
They're mad that they shut down the building. Elon and them said that was an unnecessary branch, and they're mad about that. When it's quite frankly a branch to help other people in other countries, not our country.
Well,
There you go.
And did we see the receipts from Ogre?
Now, see, this is what I'm talking about as far as education. These gentlemen, he clearly shared that this agency was created to help other countries, not the United States. So they're intelligent and they're speaking great topics. And this is what I love so much about the educated millennials. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of these 3 gentlemen. And you're never going to hear them look at each other. And I'm going to use the language that used here on a piano with niggas my age. You'll never hear them turn to each other and say, F you, man, you suck. You nigga, what you talking about? You punk, I'll meet up at you. You'll never see these 3 intelligent millennial brothers point a gun at each other on YouTube. Take lessons.
Girl yesterday talking about they spending $1 million on this, 70,000 on that, 50,000 on that. All literal nothing to the air.
On condoms. But it was impossible that it was just on condoms, though. That had to be just a cover up.
They couldn't be right.
Yeah,
$100 million.
Definitely some money laundering going on there.
How many condoms could $100 million buy you? I mean, billions of condoms. Like, actually, could we Google it?
They did like a stat.
Approximately.
If every man in Gaza used a condom, it would take them like 30 years to use all the condoms.
They did it already?
Like 2 condoms a day. It would take them like 30 years.
Yeah, the CNN saying they don't know if it's true or not.
The 100 million on condoms?
Yeah.
Trump said it was true. Trump said that out of his mouth.
Okay, it says, but they do say
if it's on
in
CNN,
total world, I know this is CNN, y'all, the most left,
yeah.
but this is according to them. The USAID condom spending, they said in 2023 they only spent 8 million. They only spent 8 million on condoms.
Only 8 million of U.S. tax dollars
on condoms.
I ain't gonna say that crazy.
Mr. Chairman, why don't we want to debate Elon Musk coming in and talking to us about his work and how he's enriched himself for $64 billion?
Mr.
Chairman. Chair recognizes Dr. Fox.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to table the motion.
There's a motion to table. There's a second.
Chairman.
Second by Mr.
Order.
Higgins.
Point of order,
Now,
Mr.
the motion is not debatable, as many
Point of order, Mr.
are in
Chairman.
favor of tabling. Point of order. State your point.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's outrageous that this committee will not even entertain a motion.
No, you state your. That's not a point of order.
Breaking the law
agree.
and
Point of order.
dismantling our federal agencies.
Out of
And you will not even entertain a motion to bring this to the president.
In favor of tabling.
Yes, let's have order in this country.
You're out of order. You know you're out of order. You know the rules of this committee. There's been a motion.
Mr.
and a
Elon
second
Musk is
table.
out of order and dismantling.
He's out of order.
I call the question.
There's been a motion and second. Motion by Dr. Fox, second by Mr. Higgins to table. All those in favor of tabling signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying no.
No.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion
Mr.
is
Chairman,
tabled.
I asked for a recorded
The
vote.
recorded vote is ordered.
That dude said, "Oh my God."
It's like a bunch of elementary kids, bro.
No, it is literally like he's the substitute teacher trying to get all the bad kids to listen.
Shit.
He said, "Eyes win." You can't even tell who won.
I know. They said we want to record it.
I need a recorded vote. He said he just wanted them to shut the hell up.
He said the chairman says there's more eyes. He was there with the Butch built. He was there that day.
He said, "What? What, bitch? What?" I don't know what any of that means.
Democrats agree that Musk is a problem, but listen to them today, and they have a pinata in search of a stick.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist!
Joyce!
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your asses.
We have days to stop the destruction of our democracy. We have work to do. Tell Elon Musk to take his hands off your money. We don't pledge allegiance to the creepy 22-year-olds working for Elon Musk. We pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
And goddamn it, shut down the city.
We will win. We will win.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
We won't rest. We won't rest.
That's so cringe.
Didn't know what they were saying.
That cringes me out.
Look at
bad.
Scott.
Gretchen.
Yes,
So,
they need the Democrats need a real leader. Okay, they need a real leader, which currently does not exist in the Democratic Party, and they have been caught completely flat-footed with the entire Trump presidency for the last 2 weeks, and Elon Musk. I said on CNN months ago that Elon Musk would be the most influential advisor to President Trump, and that is proving to be true, whether you like it or not. But Democrats should have had a plan for this. They knew it was coming. We say this every single night.
2025.
We knew it.
We
knew it. Trump has said all of these things were going to happen. We saw him align with Elon Musk, which may go down as the smartest thing that any presidential candidate has ever done, from the young vote to tech, to a million other things. So Democrats needed to have a plan, and it may be too late.
Yeah, Bakari, are you fired up after?
I'm fired up and ready to go. Can't you see it in my face? For me, I'm disappointed in the lack of plan. I'm disappointed in the flat-footedness. I don't, but you know, Josh and I just had this kind of robust conversation about how we view this issue about Israel and Gaza and relitigating November. But I believe going forward, Democrats have to present at least a unified front with all wings of the party, all factions of the party, and actually have some energy that focuses on these bread and butter issues. I've said it till I'm blue in the face that Elon Musk having access to your social security number is an issue. The freeze on aid is an issue. That issue cuts across USAID. Do you know that they purchase billions of dollars of goods from American farmers? I don't want to hear Chuck Schumer saying, and we won't lose and we won't rest.
Oh, so
I'd rather have a small business owner up there talking about the impact on them. I'd rather have somebody who was displaced, who's a Black woman who's worked hard to have her business out there chanting and
they
talking
need to
about.
pick their targets because there is a risk here that they end up going to bat over things that Americans are like, what does this have to do with me?
Well, we know that the Trump plan is to flood the zone. What do they call it? Some sort of like strategy to throw so many things out to us. The press can only cover so much. The Democrats can only cover so much. And then the really important stuff flies under the radar. I think that's what's happening. We spend all our time talking about Greenland. Next thing we know, USAID's gone. Everyone's like, what just happened?
But do you think the screaming, the Nazi rhetoric, one of the Democratic congresswomen literally called, I think it was Ayanna Pressley, but it was a Democratic congresswoman, literally called Elon Musk a Nazi. Do we really think that kind of alarmism is helpful?
No, I totally agree with
after
you.
years, don't you think Democrats would learn that just screaming hyperbole about Trump, America's rolling their eyes. They rolled their eyes in 2016. They rolled their eyes in 2024. It's all a bit much.
Not in 2020. He's making a good point that if you're at 15 every single day, okay, people are going to tune out. No question about it.
But the fact is, like, look, I mean, the imagery is there. This is how we miss our moment. On the day of inauguration, sitting behind Donald Trump was Elon Musk, was the CEO of TikTok, were these billionaires who now have offices in the White House, who are now going and affecting figuring out how you file your documents, your Social Security, all of these things. They don't speak for us.
I think the highlight reel that you just played, spliced with the highlight reel of all the people trying to run the Democratic National Committee at their organizational meeting, ought to be put together. And we ought to take money from the Republican National Committee and play it on a loop. Ladies and gentlemen, the American left is so far off the rails, they're going to have to get Google Maps to find their way gone right now. And it's glorious.
It's glorious.
Thank you very much. We'll be back in a moment.
Look at them sad. I can't remember when was it. At a certain point recently, maybe like in the last couple of months, we were watching and they were talking about, I think it was after the first debate, and they were like, the Democratic Party is in shambles and they're scrambling. And remember, people got on TV and said, oh, the Democratic Party is not in scramble. We're just fine. All right.
Look at this lady back here in the race call.
No, the Democratic Party is in shambles. And I think it's due, in fact, because they didn't expect America to reject the identity politics, to reject the wokeness, to reject this performative form of politics. Like it's all optics, it's all for show, it's all symbolism. And it's actually not getting anything done. Like the Democratic side of the government is the government working for the government rather than working in favor of the people. And America pulled the mask back this last election, and the tide is turning. So now they're going to fight tooth and nail and paint it as like America's under attack. And that's what they're going to do. Oh, we're under attack. We're under attack. We're under attack. But then the other side is like, well, you guys are actually just burning the money, and you guys are getting paid from the money being burnt. You're getting broken off while we're getting, and that's why you're trying to fight so hard for this to go this way. And America is finally done with this shit, and they just weren't ready for that. The rug has been pulled out from under them, and they have no way to respond.
This is beautiful, guys.
One big point too that I think that was made on here by that one dude. All the Democrats really do for their arguing is just call you a name. It ends in them calling you a name. But when the people don't give a damn no more, it's like, yep, whatever. Yep, whatever. And just continue on like a majority of America has now done. Oh, wow. It's a funny thing.
Yeah, I knew they were done when Abby said so. Does calling names actually, like, is this going to help in this situation?
Exactly. But I knew they were done, bro. I just knew they were done whenever I was just seeing everything going on. But then people were thinking like, oh, well, nobody said that they're going to vote for Trump, but it's all the people who couldn't make an endorsement, because if you did, you know, they're gonna attack you as a
That's
Nazi.
why he made a great point.
He made a great point.
He said, well, "Is this gonna help you guys?"
Is this
Literally
gonna-
what they do all the
They
time.
need to ask themselves every time they come on here, is this going to help us get votes or lose votes? I think they never think about that. They never think about winning. And it makes sense because they're for DEI and not meritocracy.
The guy from Virginia
So
said
they don't
that.
want to win.
I think also their plan is to just try to like bully people into following
They're
their
literally
their
call you
way.
names.
They call you names,
meanie.
shame you, use their narcissism, try to get people who are celebrities and completely not even on the same scale as the everyday American and voter to tell you how to think and what we should think, and it's over. It's f***ing over, and I don't think they expected this to happen.
They should listen to the guy from Virginia. He said, "Hey, I don't feel like the Democrats focus on the economy." He said,
That's all anyone cares about.
All right, guys, this is hilarious, though, guys. The meltdown is crazy.
It's hilarious.
I admire these young guys. I think they're just like completely phenomenal. I do. Being at that age and choosing not to go in negative directions in life. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm telling you, and I'm very proud of them that they could hold such a professional conversation live. And I agree with them when it comes to what's being said. So let's take a look at what I have a problem with. Or should I show you Jasmine first? Yeah, let me show you Jasmine Crockett first and then get to where I want to get to. Hang on, you guys. Let's get to this. Because I was weird before I even go any further. I was where Jasmine Crockett is now. And I'm willing to bet you, hey, Superman, I'm willing to bet you that before Jasmine Crockett turns 50, she will be one of the badass Republican. I'm serious. Right now, she's only 43 with a little beautiful self. Okay, I'm not going to talk down on her because I was where she was when it came to being a Democrat and fighting for Democrats until I woke up and educated myself on how I'm hurting myself fighting for a party that doesn't give a rat's ass about me or the people, period, no matter what their race is. Okay. When I was a Democrat, I was ready to slit your throat if you talked about a Democratic leader, especially one that I was supporting. I got the wake-up call. And we're all getting it slowly. Like I said, I don't have a problem with the system. I don't. Because you grow up, you get a job, and you do decent things. But what other people's feelings towards a system that's designed for you to get an education, take up a trade, okay, and learn how to apply those skills if you're going to open your own business or you're going to work for somebody else. I don't see a problem with that. Yes, there's racisms, there's bad bosses, there's bad management, but nobody's stopping you from starting your own business. I'm sorry. I'm not buying no excuses. But let's listen to Jasmine, who I predict will be one of the badass Republicans before she turns 50. She's only 43 right now. She was born in 81. So she's a millennial, borderline Gen X. But let's listen to her. And then I'm going to respond to her. Because she's a Democrat, hot-headed. Let's get it.
Hello, everybody. David Schuster here. President Donald Trump has now been called out on national television as a racist and a white supremacist. House lawmaker Jasmine Crockett, Democrat of Texas, delivered her matter-of-fact broadside against Trump on CNN.
This is very simple. We right now have a white supremacist
that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down.
Girl, bye. Girl, bye.
Right here from within.
Crockett was reacting to this. MAGA intellectual Darren Beattie will fill key State Department role. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will appoint Darren Beattie, a speechwriter in President Donald Trump's first term, acting Under Secretary of State for Public Diplomacy. Just months ago, Beattie tweeted this.
Competent white men must be in charge if you want things to work. Unfortunately, our entire national ideology is predicated on coddling the feelings of women and minorities and demoralizing competent white men.
Beattie has sparked controversy before. In 2018, he was fired from the first Trump White House after attending a conference for white nationalists. Crockett said Beattie needs to go and that he and his MAGA supporters do not deserve any sympathy.
That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel a way and why you can't make me doubt who I am is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder.
On top of Crockett's condemnation, social media users are having a field day pounding Darren Beattie and his white men tweets. Armand Damaluski wrote on X, is he aware his new boss is Latino? Eric Levitz, Trump just made this guy a secretary for public diplomacy at the State Department. I'm sure his appointment will greatly aid America's diplomatic efforts in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, and ingratiate our nation to female heads of state everywhere. Other users on X are pointing to President Trump's hypocrisy in condemning DEI, given the inclusion and fast track in the Trump administration for troubled white men. Pete Hegseth, who admitted to alcohol abuse and paying off a woman who accused him of rape, is Secretary of Defense. Sean Duffy, another controversial former Fox host, is Secretary of Transportation and started off his first day on the job with this.
Obviously, it is not standard to have aircraft collide. I want to be clear on that.
What a relief. And then, of course, there is State Department Undersecretary Darren Beattie, a man whose writings and social media posts have been labeled as racist. Donald Trump's willingness to surround himself with controversial white men while simultaneously claiming that minorities cause aircraft to collide and crash is truly remarkable and sick. And it makes Jasmine Crockett's argument even more persuasive. Is Donald Trump really a white nationalist? Well, his actions certainly seem to bolster Crockett's point. And Crockett's willingness to make these points on live television and in congressional hearings has set her apart. Over the past several months, on top of hammering Donald Trump, Crockett has blasted Trump's congressional supporters, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Georgia Republican who last year seemed obsessed with Hunter Biden's private parts, has been put in charge of a congressional subcommittee supporting Elon Musk's government efficiency effort.
So the Republicans have controlled this committee. So my question is, why is it that you need to create an entirely new subcommittee when you literally could go through and do whatever work it is that you're talking about handing over to the gentle lady who has never seemingly brought up anything about efficiency? The only thing I recall from the 118th was her spending a lot of time on somebody's junk in this committee. So let me be clear. Y'all had a chance. You chose not to use it. So why should the American people be convinced that now all of a sudden, because you create a new committee that has been promulgated by a real oligarch, you're talking about Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. They were actually duly elected, not somebody sitting there buying Twitter and just happened to be the richest person in the world telling y'all what to do. Let me tell you something. y'all need to find some people that actually care about their constituents. And honestly, whenever y'all are ready to work, we on this side of the aisle have always been ready to do what is right by the American people. Instead, what you can continue to do is go after the most vulnerable in our country.
A few months.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it there. Okay, for a minute. Hold up. I'm going to pause it there based on her statement about caring for the people. Okay, so now we're going to jump to where the monies was spent by the Democrats. And you tell me, all right, let's get it. Because I done really had it. Hang on, y'all. Hang on. Hang on. All right, let me get it right now. Let's get it.
Through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government. Thank you, guys.
Let's run that back again.
Through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly through USAID over the past several years. These are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so my question to Miss Crockett, okay, my question, you see where that money, she broke it down to get transgender? Oh, wait a minute. Did y'all hear that? Give me a 1. Give me a 1. Miss Crockett, I didn't hear you in any of your damn general assemblies breaking that down. Our money being spent like that for transgender opera? Wait a minute. Why didn't we know about that? Okay, you running your mouth all about Elon Musk, okay, and Trump. Why didn't you yell at your colleagues in the Democrat Party for spending that money? Why didn't you talk about that? Was that kept from you as a senator in the budget? Why didn't you speak about that? Do you not think that our tax dollars should be being paid for that? What the hell is up with that? When are you going to go crazy and flirt your hair across? All right? About that. Why you ain't going to hell and war about that? That's what I'm talking about. Perhaps you'll wake up and smell the coffee and become a Republican, because it took a Republican to come and say, look where your money's going. in this DEI agency, in this agency. Ain't no Democrat yelling and screaming about that. That's insane. Let's hear it again. That shit is crazy. She should be yelling and screaming and pushing her hair. What about the Democrats? Spending that. So let's break it down again.
Through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you.
Transgender comic book in Peru? Why is Jasmine not going ham on that? That's crazy. Is Peru part of the United States? If not, why are we spending money? Shit, she read so much, I can't even keep up.
USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces.
$1.5 million of U.S. tax dollars to advance Serbia's workplace? Are you serious? What part of Serbia is part of the United States? Why is our tax dollars going over there? Jasmine, why are you not going to hell? Why are you not screaming right now?
$70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland.
A DEI musical in Ireland? Why is our tax dollars going to Ireland to pay for a DEI musical? What part of Ireland is part of the United States? Why are our tax dollars going to pay for that in Ireland?
$47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia.
A transgender opera in Colombia. Is Colombia a part of the United States? Why are we paying that much for a transgender opera in Colombia with our tax dollars?
$32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru.
A transgender comic book in Peru. What part of Peru is part of the United States? Why are our tax dollars going to Peru? Why is Jasmine not screaming about that? Did she even know about it?
I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and
that's right, we don't. You're right, we don't. That's insane. So she's sitting up there, okay, at the congressional table, talking about Elon Musk because he's going to attack shit like that. And you got a problem with it? And you're talking about helping the American people? Is that exempt from helping the American people? So Elon's the demon because he's going to attack shit like that so that our tax dollars can't be spent on that bullshit. You got a lot of shit with you, Jasmine, but that's okay. I was where you are blindly as a Democrat until I woke up and smelt the coffee. I don't have a problem with Elon Musk looking at all them line item budgets and revoking that shit from our tax dollars. Because that's crazy. Give me a 1 if you think Elon Musk should stop transactions like that of our tax dollars going in those other countries. Give me a 1 if there's anything wrong if you think Elon Musk should go after their asses and break them line items down, that's a lot of our money being wasted. Give me a 1 if you think Elon Musk should go after their asses on them line items to where our tax dollars going. I don't got a problem with Elon Musk doing that. That's what he's hired to do. That's what he's hired to do. Let me put my 1 in there. And she got a problem with that. I don't even think she know what the hell she fighting for. You could see all the wrong in Trump and Elon, but you can't see the wrong in the Democratic Party for this bullshit. Girl, I'm going to tell you like they told me when I was a Democrat, fighting, looking all fine and sexy, walking around with politicians. Okay? And not thinking, wait a minute, what the hell is my party doing? What Elon's doing is helping the American people. I don't want millions of dollars going over to Peru, Mexico, Ireland to help transgender programs and enhance another country's working space. That's insane. I want our money back. Go get it back, Elon. Get the damn money back. Oh, I'm so upset. All right, let's get this one. So I'm sorry, Miss Jasmine. Let's get it. Perhaps you'll wake up and smell the coffee. Which one do I want? I think I want this one. I'm going to take this down. Let's get it, y'all.
In the U.S., the Trump administration is moving at a breakneck pace, targeting agencies and slashing the federal workforce. And one man is orchestrating it all, Elon Musk. Currently the richest man in the world, Musk has been given access to critical systems across the federal government. Today, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said Musk could decide for himself if any government funds that his team has access to are in conflict with his business interests.
If Elon Musk comes across a conflict of interest with the contracts and the funding that Doge is overseeing, then Elon will excuse himself from those contracts. And he has, again, abided by all applicable laws.
Alarmed by Musk's influence and growing control, House Democrats on the Oversight Committee attempted to subpoena Musk, but were blocked today by House Republicans. Our Laura Barone-Lopez has been covering the latest, and she joins us now. So Laura, Musk and his team, the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, are moving very fast. Bring us up to date. Since Monday, how many more agencies and government systems has he gained access to?
So to date, Musk and his team have accessed at least 11 agencies, and the count is growing every day. So that includes USAID, Treasury, Education Department, FAA, FBI, and what does that mean? That means that with access to these agencies, he has access to the government's biggest payment systems, to personnel information, to the personal information of many Americans, HR systems, and much more. The New York Times also recently reported that Doge has access to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, which has contracts totaling in $1 trillion. And now we asked the White House about all this access, and the White House claims that Musk and Doge have, quote, the appropriate security clearances, and that Doge employees are employees of relevant agencies. But it's not just about gaining access, Amna. Elon Musk has also gleefully tweeted on X about dismantling
entire agencies beyond USAID, including the education department.
You've been reporting on this issue of Musk and his team getting access to the Treasury payment systems. What does that mean? Do we know if he has power to stop payments, for example?
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says that Elon Musk and Doge have, quote, read-only access. But the White House has not directly answered if Elon Musk and Doge have the power to stop a number of these payments that go out of that system at the Treasury Department. The White House press secretary today seemed to imply that he might, citing some very specific payments that Doge itself was stopping. But a source familiar that I talked to who was familiar with what happened during the transition said that members of Musk's team were asking the Treasury's Bureau of Fiscal Service if they could stop payments that were going through that system, and that Doge wanted information and access to the underlying code of that system.
So what could all that mean? What are the implications of that kind of access?
I spoke to Natasha Sarin. She's a former Treasury official during the Biden administration, and she said that Musk and Doge's access, which the Doge team has a number of 19 to 24-year-olds who have no government experience. She said their access poses a risk.
I would think about it as like a data security, cybersecurity risks, right? Risks of private information about individuals, like their social security numbers, their bank account information, getting out to the public. I would think of another category of risks as national security risks. So you're making it more possible for our adversaries. The less secure this data is and this infrastructure is, the more possible it is for our adversaries to be able to manipulate it.
So just to hammer it home, Amna, Natasha said that that means that Doge has access to social security numbers, direct deposit bank accounts for everyday Americans. And we should note that a federal judge did indicate today that he may issue a temporary restraining order against Doge's ability to access those payment systems.
Laura, what do we know about why Musk and Doge have been given this kind of apparently unfettered access to these government systems?
Elon Musk has said pretty publicly that his goal is to cut the deficit by stopping all of these improper payments. But he's made a lot of sweeping accusations without any evidence, calling USAID payments there just totally corrupt. He claims that the Bureau of Fiscal Service, that's that Treasury payment system we're talking about, that they've never stopped improper payments. Well, experts that we talk to say that that's a fundamental misunderstanding of what those civil servants do. They're only responsible for cutting checks. They are not responsible for vetting the payments at all. That happens at the agency level. And so there is a concern amongst government workers that Elon Musk is essentially claiming and creating a head fake, saying that there are all these improper payments going out of the federal government, and claiming that essentially as a permission structure to then eventually stop payments.
In the big picture here, we've seen Musk gain access, get control of these systems. Help us understand the influence. What kind of a takeover is this we're seeing?
Well, some of the experts that we talk to say that there's a name for this, and that name is state capture. What is state capture? It's when a wealthy individual like Elon Musk is able to capture the mechanisms of government, gain control of them, and then potentially manipulate them for their personal gain. And I spoke to Tyler McBrien, the managing editor at Lawfare, who said that state capture practically works like this.
It's rewriting the rules of the game in terms of law and policy. It's capturing administrative decisions through appointments, budgeting, things like that. And then it's attacking these accountability structures. So the inspectors general, any sort of congressional oversight that should happen, the media as well. You see this now with certain government agencies only reporting things on X and no longer issuing press releases.
He mentioned inspectors general. A lot of inspectors general are gone now because the Trump administration put them on leave. One of the only ways he said to stop state capture is public awareness. And we saw today that there were a lot of protests and backlash there across DC, outside of the Capitol. Hundreds protested the dismantling of USAID. And you hear them talking about chanting against Elon Musk there, Amna. So that is potentially one of the only ways that state capture could be stopped.
Laura Brown-Lopez, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to move into the whole scary Elon Musk thing is a bunch of bullshit from the Democrats, as you may know. It's a bunch of bullshit. All I'm going to say is, Elon, do your damn job. Do what you was hired to do. And Jasmine, until you can address that spending that the Democrats was doing, you need to shut your mic on congressional hearings. Check with your party. Ask them why they didn't show you those line items. And if you saw them, shame on you. So let's get into this. Let's see why Trump wants to get rid of the Department of Education. Let's get it. All right, let me make this bigger. Here we go.
Upheaval and uncertainty grip the Department of Education as President Trump follows through on his pledge to dismantle the agency that millions of Americans rely on.
I believe strongly in school choice, but in addition to that, I want the states to run schools.
President Trump has nominated Linda McMahon as Secretary of Education, tasking her with scaling down the department responsible for promoting student achievement, ensuring equal access, and overseeing key federal programs. For the 2025 fiscal year, the U.S. Department of Education has a $103 billion budget. About $69 billion, roughly 67%, goes to federal student aid, which helps students pay for college or career training.
If you don't have the U.S. Department of Education, then there'd be questions about how that financial aid would be taken care of. Something like Head Start, that's a federal program as well. So that could have impact on, young kids.
Dr. Joy Spencer, Dean of the School of Education at UC Riverside, says the department also plays a critical role in collecting and providing education data.
I think it makes a huge difference for a nation to have a Department of Education where it's able to hire people who are committed, who have deep connections, who are education scientists, who can help us understand the most challenging issues related to education.
Beyond funding and research, the department also enforces anti-discrimination policies in schools, something California Attorney General Rob Bonta has vowed to uphold if the federal government does not.
The California Constitution, in addition, provides a separate, strong protection, making it clear that transgender and gender nonconforming individuals are a protected class who cannot be discriminated against.
As President Trump moves to dismantle the Department of Education, questions remain about the future of federal student aid, school oversight, and civil rights protections.
Chambers speak out.
Okay, so let's see what they have. Why Trump wants to abolish. I'm just going to read the headings, and I'll share the link with you so you could read it yourself. Why Trumps want to abolish the Department of Education. An anthropologist who studies MAGA explains 4 reasons. And let's get to it. 1, education departments allege woke mentality. Okay. Number 2, American Marxist indoctrination. Number 3, school choice and parental rights. And number 4, red tape. So, and then they raise a question, can Trump abolish the education department? At first glance, the education department's days might seem numbered, given Trump's repeated promises to eliminate it. So, and his reported plans to soon sign an executive order that does so. So, abolishing the department, however, would legally require congressional approval and 60 votes to move forward in the Senate, which is unlikely since Republicans only have 53 seats. So we'll have to see how this plays out. We'll have to see. So The last thing is Bernie Sanders, where he faked us all with the bullshit when he was running for president. Playing games. Let's see here.
Mr. President, today I would ask that the quorum call be vitiated.
Without objection.
Mr. President, today we find ourselves in a pivotal moment in American history. And millions of Americans, by their actions or lack of action, will determine the future of our country for decades. In my view, the Trump administration is moving this country very aggressively into an oligarchic form of society where extraordinary power rests in the hands of a small number of unelected multi-billionaires. The Trump administration is moving this country very aggressively into an authoritarian society where the rule of law and our Constitution are being ignored and undermined in order to give more power to the White House and the billionaires who now control our government.
So if he put all the education to the states, how is that giving him more power? And Bernie, can you explain that goddamn line item agenda, the same one I'm calling Jasmine on, please? Because what the hell y'all was doing is insane.
The Trump administration is moving this country very rapidly toward a kleptocracy, where the function of government is not to serve the needs of ordinary people, but to enrich those who are in power. Mr. President, I think that today is a very good day to recall what one of our great presidents said at Gettysburg in November of 1863. Looking out at a battlefield where thousands of Union soldiers had just sacrificed their lives in the defense of freedom and the ending of slavery, Abraham Lincoln famously stated, and I quote, "The world will no longer remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did, the soldiers did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the life and the ending of slavery. Looking out at a battlefield where thousands, but to enrich those who are in power." Mr. President, I think that today is a very good day to recall what one of our great presidents said at Gettysburg in November of 1863. Looking out at a battlefield where thousands of Union soldiers had just sacrificed their lives in the defense of freedom and the ending of slavery.
Okay, Mr. Sanders, are you talking about the Indians that were enslaved in the South, or do you have a family history of being enslaved? Are you talking about the Indians that were enslaved in the South and a few of the white people that was enslaved? Or seriously? Or was your family even in the United States at that time? Because that's questionable. Seriously, is that all you know us mainland Indian brown folks for, is being enslaved in our states by our grandparents? Seriously.
Abraham Lincoln famously stated, and I quote, "The world will no longer remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did, the soldiers did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain." And this is how he concluded: "That this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth." Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Mr. President, I fear very much that under President Trump, we are not seeing a government of the people, by the people, for the people, but rather a government of the billionaire class, by the billionaire class, and for the billionaire class.
But what about you Democrats and your line items, spending our tax dollars in unnecessary countries that did not pay taxes? Explain your budget line items, boy.
And what is really interesting is that none of this is happening behind closed doors. It's not being done in secret.
Right, like y'all, because you did everything in secret. Your whole goddamn party. It was a secret until Trump's press secretary exposed the line items. We didn't know shit about that. Why didn't you tell us about those line items? And that's just a few. I hope Bernie Sanders let us see all the line items, because that was just a few disgusting line items.
It's right out there for everybody to see. Several weeks ago, Donald Trump was inaugurated for a second term as president. Standing right behind him were the three richest men in America: Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg.
Your ass is rich too. You're rich, Bernie.
Combined, these three men are worth $920 billion.
Add yourself to them too. You keep leaving you're rich. You're very rich too, sir. Let me see. Let's just see. Bernie Sanders, U.S. Senate federal credit, $375,000. This is in 2018. He's rich too. $2025, let's see. An estimated net worth of $3 million. That's a lot of money to us poor folks. Sorry, $3 million is a lot to me. So you're rich too in my eyes.
These three men own more wealth than the bottom half of American society, 170 million people. Three guys, 170 million people. And I should point out, and this should tell you exactly where we are going as a nation, these three men, wealthiest three in America, have become some $232 billion richer since Trump was elected a few weeks ago. Three guys, $232 billion richer since Trump was elected.
Why are you hating?
Mr. President, this is how an oligarchic system works. Elon Musk, the wealthiest person in the world and now a key part of the Trump administration, spent over 207.
He said oligarchic. Why that sound a lot like Algonquin? Hello? Does that word oligarchic sound a lot like Algonquin? Or is it just me? Let me run it back.
A few weeks ago. Three guys, $232 billion richer since Trump was elected. Mr. President, this is how an oligarchic system works. Elon Musk,
oligarchic,
the wealthiest person in the world and now a key part of the Trump administration, spent over $277 million to get Trump elected. In other words, within a corrupt campaign finance system, which allows billionaires to spend as much as they want, he helped buy the election for Mr. Trump. Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, the second and third wealthiest people in our country, both kicked $1 million each into Trump's inauguration fund.
But we get strikes if we say how we felt Biden won, right? I'm done.
And let us remember that Mr. Bezos, who among other things owns the Washington Post, rescinded the endorsement of that paper for Kamala Harris just before the election. Mr. Bezos was showing early on that he was willing to bend the knee for Donald Trump. Mark Zuckerberg, the founder and CEO of Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, agreed to settle a lawsuit with Trump for $25 million. These three multi-billionaires are working with Trump for one very simple reason. They understand that Trump's policies are designed to make the very wealthiest people in this country even richer. Since Trump's election, Mr. Musk has become $154 billion richer. Not bad in a couple of weeks' time.
So are you saying that you feel like you're a little poor guy compared to them with your millions?
He earned a great investment. He only spent a couple of $100 million on the election, and now he's $154 billion richer. Mr. Bezos has become $35 billion richer, and Mr. Zuckerberg has become $43 billion richer. Mr. President, I am concerned not only about the growing movement toward oligarchy in this country, but I am deeply worried that under the leadership of President Trump, we are moving rapidly towards authoritarianism. And all over this country, people are alarmed and shocked by what they have seen in the last several weeks. Just a few examples, just a few. Last week, President Trump attempted to suspend all federal grants and loans in direct violation of the U.S. Constitution and federal law. As every third grader in America knows, or I hope knows, the power of the purse in the United States belongs to Congress, not the president. Yes, the president can recommend legislation to Congress.
We know
that. The
that.
president can veto legislation that Congress has passed. but he does not have the power to unilaterally terminate funding and legislation that has been passed by the U.S. Congress. That is a dangerous and blatantly unconstitutional act.
We ain't know about them line items, though, for the transgender books and Columbia and all this. Come on, boy. You got to do better, Bernie.
And I should add that Trump's blocking of federal funding would have had a horrific impact on millions of Americans who utilize programs like Medicaid, Head Start, community health centers, Meals on Wheels, homeless veterans programs, and many, many other initiatives. Tens of millions of Americans, including some of the most vulnerable in our country, were impacted by that decision. But that's not all. A few days ago, Trump fired 17 inspectors general, independent government watchdogs that were created by Congress in the wake of the Watergate scandal to prevent the abuse of power by the executive branch. Last week, President Trump fired a member of the National Labor Relations Board, and in so doing, effectively neutered the only federal agency in America with the authority to hold corporations accountable for illegal union busting and to protect the constitutional right of millions of workers who want to join unions in order to earn better wages, working conditions, and benefits. Not only is that move blatantly illegal, it is exactly what Elon Musk, the owner of Tesla, and Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, have been fighting for months. They don't like unions. And what Mr. Trump has given them is the opportunity to make it much, much harder for workers to organize in their companies. President Trump also illegally fired members of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the only independent commission in our country that protects workers against discrimination in the workforce. Further, and what should upset every American, no matter whether you're conservative, moderate, progressive, is that in direct violation of the Constitution and federal law, Trump is intimidating the media with lawsuits against ABC, CBS, Meta, and the Des Moines Register. His FCC is now threatening to investigate PBS and NPR. What Trump is essentially saying to every media outlet in America, if you say or do anything that is critical of me, that displeases me, you may be subject to a lawsuit or a federal investigation.
But what did y'all do? People's channels was getting shut down. We couldn't express our freedom of speech. And under y'all, how many times did y'all shut down Candace Owens' channel? Y'all Democrats want to take away our damn freedom of speech. The hell out of here, boy.
If that is not a direct attack on the First Amendment, on the U.S. Constitution and free speech in our country, I don't know what is. But that is not all. Elon Musk and his unelected minions at Doge have forced out officials at the Treasury Department and illegally shut down USAID, a program which, among other things, helps feed and provide medical help to starving and desperate children all over the world. Presidents, much less unelected billionaires, do not have the unilateral right to shut down federal agencies established by Congress. And when we talk about the very dangerous movement towards authoritarianism that we are seeing in this country now, let us not forget Trump's pardoning of the January 6th insurrectionists who injured 174 police officers right here.
Oh, don't forget about are you going to add in Biden's pardons for his son? See, you forgot about that, right?
Right outside this floor. Even worse, not only did he pardon those people, but Trump is undermining the FBI by actually investigating the agents there who helped bring these violent criminals to justice.
Exactly.
Imagine that.
Exactly.
Pardoning the people
Business.
who broke the law and investigating the people who upheld the law. That is not what America is supposed to be about. And Mr. President, under Trump, we are rapidly moving toward a kleptocracy as well. Just before the president was inaugurated, he and his wife launched their own cryptocurrency coins, giving them the potential to earn many billions of dollars. If Wall Street CEOs...
So why you ain't do that with your wife, Bernie? Sound like you hating.
tried to bribe the president with a bag full of money, that would be illegal. That's against the law. But now they don't have to do that. Today, if a multi-billionaire, the head of a foreign country, wants to curry favor with the president,
All right. I had enough of that shit. Okay, so that's all I'm showing today. Okay? The bull. And it gets worse. But Jasmine, you need to be checked at the door. Because I was where you were when I was a Democrat. I would cut your throat if you talked about a Democrat. But I woke up and smelled of coffee. So you're only 43. I'm going to give you a little time. Because I know that I'm going to tell you what the same person told me. That I would be a Republican by the time I reached 50. When I turned 50, I became a Republican. Facts. You're next. And you're going to be a badass Republican because you're going to wake up and smell the coffee. But so I'm going to give you a little time with your beautiful self. I am. But at this point in the game, y'all, I'm going to open up the panel. Anybody want to come on and bring that smoke? Bring it. Otherwise, I'm going to shut the show down. But I'll wait. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Let me see. I want to know what your thoughts are. I'm put the link in the chat. And you can bring the smoke to Sister Bethy. I got thick skin. Y'all know that. So I'll wait. I'm going to wait. At this point, the panel is now open. Curious is saying that your device is not connected. You got to connect your audio and camera. Hey, bro, what's going on? I can't hear you if you're talking. You got to connect your audio, Curious. I can't hear you. Salute everybody that came on in. Come on up, Americanisness. Hit the link, girl. Oh, Curious trying to connect his audio. Maybe you got to go out and come back. Y'all, the link is pinned to the top. Come on up. Come on up. The link is pinned to the top. Listen, while we're waiting for people to come up, if they come up, I was thinking, have, instead of making all these plans that we know you're not going to do, have you ever thought about going back to your ancestral land where your ancestors originally came from, which would be, in most cases, the South? Like, go back to where they were ran off, okay? Because a lot of us was ran off our lands as Indians, and we were pushed and forced into the inner cities. Have you ever thought that since that time, during Indian removal, or whether it was Black Wall Street, we were pushed and forced, burned out our ancestral land, which is one of these states, and we ended up where we are now. A lot of us are not living in the lands that our ancestors originally came from. Okay? Like in my instance, do you think that it's time to go back to your original ancestral land and help build those communities? Like, I'll use myself for an example. My family originally came from out of South Carolina on my mother's side, straight up South Carolina. They originally are from that soil, not in the colonial area of where the colonizers were. We were in another part of South Carolina, and we had our farm, and we lived freely on our farm until we were burned out. Have you ever thought about leaving the state that you're in, where the state government has just been horrible to you? And have you ever thought of giving yourself a fresh start in life and going back to your original state land, I would say now, and getting a fresh start where the state doesn't know you, and starting from scratch to help rebuild that government and making it powerful and strong? And that government won't see you in the same eye as the current state that you're living in. For example, I'm in Connecticut, and if I move to South Carolina and start help building that community, all right, and start building that community where my ancestors originally came from, and I say, okay, I'm gonna pick up and go to South Carolina where my ancestors originally came from, and start helping that current government build those municipalities wherever you land, and having a positive relationship with that government, which is the original land where your ancestors came from, and they see you in a different light. Start help building that community and making that relationship with that government so that you can begin to get help from that government to build whatever you're going to build that's going to generate revenue and make that community and that government strong economically, just by you moving there with a different attitude. What are your thoughts on that? Because I think that's a great thing. Going back to where your ancestors originally came from. Okay. So now you're new all again. The bloodline is there. Their bones are in those graves in that original state. And you're back to help build that government and make it strong. I think I would be a very positive asset to South Carolina, building it and starting a fresh relationship with the government that you haven't dealt with since your ancestors left that soil. What are your thoughts about that? Curious. That's why we have our land in South Carolina. But go ahead, Curious. Can you hear me, Curious? Something's wrong with your audio, love. I don't know. Hit the panel, y'all. I mean, really, y'all go on panels. I mean, you ain't got to be scared to hit my panel. You go on panels to damn near kill each other. I'm not here to kill you. I'm here to vibe with you and communicate with you. Whether we agree to disagree, I'm not going to hang you and call you a dog and threaten your life. I'm just going to respectfully disagree with you. Hey, Curious, your mic is muted. Damn, Curious. You ain't never had this problem getting on my panel.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now I can.
Oh, man, I don't know what the heck is going on with this thing today, man. I think that what you were talking about, going back to where your ancestors originated from, I've been down south, especially in a little town called State Line, Mississippi. That's where my mother's mother came out of. I'm gonna tell you, I'm laughing. It's a little rough down in that area. It's country folk down there, and they when I say country folk, they possum eaters. Deep fried possum, whatever comes off the land, they consume it. I don't think that would be an environment conducive for me at this point at 61, sis.
Well, I guess I say that because, but that's not a reason why I would not return to my ancestral land. A lot of southern states are suffering economically, and it's due to lack of economic development.
Right.
And we have been in states where we understand how to enforce and bring about economic development. All these trades that we have, okay, and experience that we have, we can take them to our ancestral states and help strengthen and build those governments up. Like, you have an extensive amount of skill.
Right.
I'm not saying you got to eat no damn possum.
Man,
what can you bring to that state to help build your ancestral state back and make it strong economically? What can you bring to the table? How can you help that current government? How can you help the governor of South Carolina or Mississippi, as you may say? Right. How can you help the senators and representatives of Mississippi? What can you do? What skill do you bring to help boost their economics?
Right.
What can you do to generate revenue for your ancestral state? A lot of southern states are suffering when it comes to generating revenue.
Right.
That's how I would look at it. Now, I know Connecticut is always going to treat me fucked up. I already know that.
Right.
But what can I do in my ancestral state to have a government have a different and fresh outlook on what I can bring to help strengthen the current governor, the current governors and senators of that state? Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
We don't have to build 51 states. Sometimes it takes just leaving and going to another state, I say ancestral state, to help them build, help that legislator, help the senators, representatives, the governors, the mayors. What can you bring? That's what I'm talking about.
Right. You know, it depends on your abilities and what you, like you say, what you can do. And a lot of people, a lot of us, you're an administrator. I'm a administrator and a hands-on person, a wrench turner, for better lack of words, a maintenance person. And those skill sets are valuable wherever you are. And but in that area, I use Mississippi because that's where my mother and them come up. And you know, you're always closer to your mama's people than you are your father's people. In some cases, they live on the ancestry land. They do a little gardening, a little farming. They still doing what my original forefathers were doing in the 1800s. There's some of them still doing it because I saw it this last year. But they're doing old-fashioned ways where, you know, they're yielding crop, but it's not yielding. Their processes is not streamlined. So with that being said, there's some things that they could do to streamline their processes. I think that I could present to streamline some of the processes that they're using to grow, you know, their crops. Again, you'd have to be acclimated into them processes of how things really grow. But at the end, there's always process improvement that will yield a benefit to any area, whether it's Mississippi, Ohio, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, wherever. So process improvement is something that could be presented, whether they accept it or not. It's always easier. A lot of our people are standoff when it comes to change, and this is how we've been doing it for years. And this is, you know, so sometimes our people are closed-minded to that change.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So I want to say this. Getting the hell out of the current state and the situation you're in, and the state that you were forced, your ancestors were forced to run to, flee to, from southern states. I said, because times have changed. Times have changed. I say, okay, we know y'all Negroes is not going to build no 51st state. You're not even doing the first thing that it takes to build, excuse me, a 51st state.
Right.
My thing is going back to your ancestral state because they don't know you anymore. You've been gone so long. With any state, the best way you can help any state of the 50 states is to open a business. That's the best thing anybody could do to a state, for a state, is opening a business. I say go back to your ancestral state where they no longer know you because you've been gone so long, and it's so desolate in the South. So desolate. It's because it's missing a particular body of people. We've been putting our business into the North so much, the northern states. We need to go back to our ancestral states where they no longer know us anymore and start a fresh life. Open a business to build that government. Then you'll have a nice relationship and understand the importance of having a positive relationship with your state government, local municipal, because the best thing an American can do is open a business in any state. I say go to your ancestral state and help them become powerful again.
Okay.
I don't know. Y'all, I'm not going to even waste my time starting a 51st state when you can get a fresh start and go back to your state of origination and help that state and that government become powerful. Your thoughts? Hey, Isness. Hey, Alika. What's good, y'all sisters?
I'm gonna let the sisters chime in on that one.
Y'all got it.
Well, I just want to say peace. I'm after you.
Hey.
Alika.
Hey, how y'all doing, ladies? My
Go ahead.
sisters.
Go ahead and take it. Go ahead.
Am I echoing?
No.
You got it.
All right. Well, the thing is, I think we all should return back to our states or whatever and start businesses there. However, I know some people are grounded, like they are grounded in their state that they already lived in, so it would be fine too if they opened a business there. But I do understand what you're saying, like they need to recognize their culture and exactly where their lineage started. So I agree with you, Sister Bethy, on that note.
Oh, sis, all right. Yeah, I just feel like that's the best thing to do. Going back to your state of origination where your ancestor was pushed off because that state no longer knows you.
Yeah, and when you go there, it's all right. You ain't gotta eat what they eat. You don't gotta eat possum. You don't. You can still live amongst them.
That's funny.
So you're going there to freshly establish a relationship with that state government so they could see you in a different eye.
Right, especially too, being able to prove and actually say with pride, how far your lineage goes here. Well, people like to ask, what is your business here or whatever, or you just came. No, I've been here. I get exactly what you're saying.
And if you have a farm, if you decide to have a farm, our soil is clean. Your soil's clean. So the people in that state are going to get healthy vegetables. That's good business. Our people love vegetables, fruits. And if that's something you're skilled at, that's what you should be doing for that state. Promoting healthy food instead of all these chemicals that they have. Who knows? You might be a big distributor to the north since you left the north and you know what the north needs. Healthy fruits. People love healthy fruits and vegetables.
You're right.
Your thoughts? Isness?
No, I think that's a really great idea, and I was actually thinking of that because I've raised here in the state that I live in, and I'm not raised there. But why not go and just purchase property and just reestablish myself on, like you said, your ancestral lands? And I think that's like a wonderful idea. That's a way to reconnect. As we're digging up our genealogy and we're finding where our roots are, a great way to reconnect to that particular area is just go buy some land. You don't have to go and fight with, because some of us still have that tract of land that everybody is attached to, right? But instead of fighting over that, just go buy you some land and start a farm or something like that. What a great idea, Sister Bethy. Absolutely.
Yeah, and start a business. It doesn't have to be a farm. You could be a great carpenter. And you go to that state government and say, hey, look, I'm really skillful in carpentry. I'm certified in the state that I came from. I really want to start my carpentry business here in the state. That's going to generate revenue automatically for the municipality and the state. Why not get a fresh start where you're not known at, but where your bloodline is? Because everybody's just in YouTube talking, yeah, we should do this, we should do that. No, you know what? It's about the individual now. Just go do it. That's all. You ain't got to tell nobody what you're going to do. Just go do it. Just individually make the choice to go back to your ancestral land. And you have a government that will look at you in a different eye. Seriously. Because I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of it. I'm tired. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. It's no talks about that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. And when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. I really had enough of Connecticut. I would never recommend this state for anyone to move to. Never, ever. Never.
It's so pretty though. I was looking at the property up there, like, man, I see why folks move to
The
Connecticut.
government here is, I'm sorry. I'm not even going to say. I won't even speak on it. But what I will say is I would never recommend anyone to come to the northern states. I would not. I say go back and get fresh starts. Because when you come to Connecticut and you look like me, you already got 2 strikes against you. And that's a fact. You might as well go back south, wherever your original land origination is, because they're barren. We were ran off. And perhaps they're desolate now is because of what was done to the original people that was there. So now it's so desolate. I say it's safe to go back and help build our southern states and help them to get strong. I'm not joining no forces to make no another state or no government. Hell no. Because there's so much land, and land is always going to be here. It ain't going no damn where. And go be positive in our communities. Right now, everybody's on Trump's ass. But I don't think he's making a mistake in what he's doing. I don't think he made a mistake in putting Elon Musk in that position. I don't think he's making a mistake to dismantle the Department of Education. I don't. What has the Department of Education really done for our people?
You're right. You're right on that.
Is everyone really created equal? I don't give a damn what your race is.
You know, the thing with the Department of Education is that you see that we're like last in place in education. And then they bring in people like Elon Musk and say, oh, well, these people are so smart. Well, see, if you're feeling like all of these foreigners are so smart, then why aren't you investing in the children here to bring them up to speed? If you're saying that, we have to import all these people, that means that you have a fundamental problem here in the United States. And obviously, that Department of Education ain't making it work. Obviously, they don't care. They've never identified the problem. They're only, when you look at these colleges, they're full of international students, right? So,
Yep.
so if our kids aren't there, but the international students are there, then what is this Department of Education really actually overseeing?
Right. I
Facts.
agree with you.
Facts.
I
My
think
point.
everything should be dismantled and it should be started again the same way he's doing. And this was something that we too, as American Indians and Aboriginal people, this is what we wanted. We wanted the history to be done all over again, like everything to be like they need to look at Clovis, they need to look at the Bering Strait, we wanted all this stuff looked at. It is happening. Our job now, I think, is to back him. He said that if the courts don't agree with him, which one court didn't, he said that he was coming to the people. I think we ought to back him 100% and not back down. Because in order for him to distinguish or interpret the Constitution, we would have to be able to speak up, which we are. You see the TikTok going, you see everything going crazy on who are the people that the Constitution is in reference of. So I'm looking at this whole thing from a whole nother standpoint. What he's doing is something we've been wanting done. And dismantle the educational system. What they did was teach us lies. They did the prison, from school to prison pipelines for our children. They never gave them really a chance or whatever. They assimilated us and had us thinking and brainwashed us, having us thinking that we're Black and how we have no history and how Black was a race of people. I mean, it's disgusting or whatever. No people should be dumbed down like that. And then dealing with the spending costs, we're just giving tax money after tax money after tax dollar or whatever to all these foreign countries and foreign aid or whatever. We have people here starving. It's like they got money for whores, but they can't feed the poor. Like it's clear as day. You got people that work, they can't even get help. Say for instance, I don't know, you work hard, you never call out of work that much. When you do, you are sick and you need help with your light bill. You can't get help with your light bill. You can't get no housing help. You can't get help with food for your children. You can't do any of that, and you're a working person versus a person that doesn't do anything all day. All they do is get their hair, their nails done. They spend food stamps, whatever, cash out food stamps. I don't think those people are the people that need the help. It's the working class. It's the people who actually putting in the pot. But then to have our money sent overseas for condoms for Hamas, I don't see. What they're doing is a great job. I hope Elon Musk and Trump keep going.
Yeah.
Well, you made a really good point because you were talking about, what they're teaching us. They're teaching us that we came from Africa. And all of us went to school to learn that. I mean, maybe the young generation, the 20-year-olds, maybe they learned it from their parents, but those are a little bit older. We didn't learn any of that stuff at home. We learned it at school. So they're indoctrinating us and they're making us these women who want to just get our hair and our nails done. Because if you don't learn, if you don't spark imagination in the people, then how are they going to, create? You're dumbing everybody down. The system is created to dumb everybody down. And now they're expecting us to fight or to lament this system. I totally agree.
Yeah, and then it's like they want us to. It's like they still too do. They have like Trump derangement syndrome. And what I mean by you can have derangement syndrome about anything. It could be too. They call it. They can have people have their views, but the way that they doing the way that they're doing this guy, I think is horrible or whatever. And then to say like the things that they say about Elon Musk or whatever, if he's it's like I'm trying to say, for instance, this is an example. You're trying to downsize the amount of money that you're spending per month. So the first thing you need to know is where is it going? Okay. A millionaire is not a millionaire for nothing. Evidently, he knows how to hang on to his money and he knows how to make it grow. Feeding children in other countries, and there's children right here starving. I don't see the point in that. I'm with them. I'm with Elon Musk and them. I totally agree with them. So far I haven't seen anything that they've done that I was like, wait a minute. If so, I had to go look it up so I can understand, because I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, you want to stop? Want you to stop in foreign aid for this country or whatever they need us? No. Let that foreign country find a way to take care of themselves. If we've been doing it for so long and taxation and paying federal dollars to them or whatever, and then you get their people, they're coming all flooding here. So where's this money going that we're sending over there for them so they can stay in their country? They all flooding here.
Correct. And my thought is, okay, what if Trump's press secretary did not bring that document out with them line items? Would we ever know?
No, we wouldn't have never known.
And guess what? Here it is, how the Democrats taught us that the Republicans, this and that, they don't do this, they don't do that, when in fact, they were the ones that were the deviants. Here we go again with the Republicans coming to free the damn slaves again. That's all I'm saying. Because who freed the slaves? Not the Democrats.
Radical Republicans.
It was the Republicans. So here they come again, telling you boldly where your damn money's going. So now you got the goddamn Republicans freeing the slaves again.
I think that it's. I really think that that's loud.
Yeah, it is.
I really think that being transparent is most important in this time and day. Not holding, not hiding shit, so people can really view and see what's really going on. For too long in this country, at least since 1936, a lot of stuff has been hidden from the view of the public. And now we're at the age now where we need to know exactly what's going on. All these different branches of government, of so-called government, is now, as they doing, they need to reduce them. I mean, get rid of them, reduce them. Yeah, it's unfortunate that some people are losing their positions, but at the end of the day, in order to know where the money is going to, you have to streamline and stop it and how you say it, desist, stop and desist everything, so you can get a hold on where is it going at. When you, it's like your own personal budget. When you spending money and you like, damn, I just got paid and I'm broke already. You stop. Okay, let me put it on the Excel so I can see where my money is going. So I think that what they're doing now is a good thing. And for those who's don't think so, shame on you. But that's that democratic mindset. We need to do this. We need to help these people. Man, we got to get out. We have to take care of home first. That's what other countries do. They take care of their homes first. And we think for the last 50 years, 40, 50 years, they haven't been taking care of home first. And the sister is right. The sister is right. We got hungry people here. I'm not saying hungry children here. I'm saying help take care of the hungry children. But then again, we need to look at the parents and their skill sets. It goes back into just having babies to have babies. That's a bigger issue on another conversation, but that's some of the issues that we're faced with. Yes. But Elon Musk and those guys, they're doing what I think should be done. And I yield.
Facts. This is just shared John Kennedy breaking down the federal spending line by line. Okay. So let's listen to that for a few minutes because that's interesting.
Senator from Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. President. I yield 30 minutes of my post-cloture debate time on the vote nomination to Senator Merkley and 30 minutes of my post-cloture debate time on the vote nomination to Senator Schumer.
The senator has that right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. President. The senator from Louisiana.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr.
Slow,
President,
so it's gonna take a little bit.
Requests for committees to meet during today's session of the Senate. They have the approval of the majority and minority leaders.
Duly noted.
Thank you, Mr. President. With me today is one of my colleagues from my Senate office, Mr. James Shea. He is one of my right-hand people and does great work, and I'm honored that he could join me today. Gosh, I don't know where to begin. I've been in the Senate for 8 years. In dog years, that's 56 years. And it feels like 56 years. I've learned a lot, met a lot of interesting people. Before I got here, everybody told me about the Washington bubble. And I said, how serious could they be? Well, it's true. There is a Washington bubble. This place is different. It's in its own way, sometimes disappointing, sometimes refreshing. It is deeply weird. For one thing, common sense is illegal in Washington. It's illegal. For another thing, I've discovered that this is a town of very frustrated ex-class presidents. And there's a Washington way of doing things. And when things aren't done that way, when somebody challenges the status quo, many, not all, but many of these frustrated ex-class presidents in Washington, on the Hill, and otherwise, they get excited, not in a good way. They can't get their mind around doing anything other than the Washington way. Some of them, particularly in the media, they go almost catatonic, or the exact opposite. They foam at the mouth, and they really get upset. They can make a Valium nervous. It's like the world, we're not doing things the way we've always done them, and the world's going to spin off its axis. I want to try to put in perspective what many of my Democratic friends have been talking about today. They're very, very, very upset at President Trump. And they're very, very, very upset at Elon Musk. President Trump ran for president on a number of issues. One of the issues he ran on, he said it almost every day. He said, if you elect me president, I'm going to go through the entire budget and review all the spending, line by line. If I heard him say that once, I heard him say it 1,000 times. And that's what he's been doing. He went out and appointed, through an executive order, Elon Musk, who some people like him, some don't, but he's not a dummy. He's a very successful business person. He's got a top secret security clearance. President Trump issued an executive order, and he turned to Mr. Musk and he said, Mr. Musk, I want you to do for me what I said I was going to do in the election. I want you to go through all the spending, line by line. Now, let me ask you something, Mr. President. How are you going to review the spending without reviewing the spending? How are you going to audit the spending by an agency without auditing the agency? That's what I mean when I say common sense is illegal in Washington, D.C. That's what Mr. Musk is doing. He's put together a crackerjack team, and they're going through everybody's spending line by line, item by item. And my Democratic colleagues are very, very, very upset. And they've been very eloquent. They've talked about the process, and President Trump's executive order supposedly violates the Constitution. And they've accused Mr. Musk of having conflicts of interest. And so I've heard people say he's sitting over there. But that's what Mr. Musk is doing. And the spending porn, the waste of taxpayer money that he's found. I mean, that's the point of all this. I tell you who is interested. The American people. The people in America who get up every day and go to work and obey the law and pay their taxes and try to educate their kids and try to do the right thing by their kids and try to save a little money for retirement, and have had to live through 20% inflation under President Biden. They understand what Musk is doing. They understand spending porn and wasting taxpayer money. Now, Mr. Musk started with the USAID. That handles a lot of foreign aid for America. American people are very generous. In our country, when you're homeless, we'll house you. When you're hungry, we'll feed you. In our country, when you're too poor to be sick, we'll pay for your doctor. And we send a lot of money overseas to help our world's neighbors. And the USAID is in charge in large part of that. But I'll tell you what Mr. Musk discovered. I find it fascinating. He discovered that the American taxpayers are giving money to Afghanistan. He found that we are giving money to Yemen. He found that we are giving money to Syria. I didn't know that. Some of our foreign aid is going to Yemen, Afghanistan, Syria. He found that the USAID has 10,000 people. 10,000 people, employees. And every year they give away $40 billion. Mr. Musk also found, and I'm not saying that all of this money is wasteful. I'm not. Some of this money, I'm sure, does some good. That's why Secretary Rubio is going to revamp the department and separate the good from the bad. But this is the kind of stuff Mr. Musk found. He found that the USAID gave money to support electric vehicles in Vietnam. Our money, taxpayer money. He found that USAID gave money to a transgender clinic in India. I didn't know that. I bet you the American people didn't know that. He found that the USAID gave $1.5 million to a Serbian LGBTQ group called Grupa Izladaji. I probably mispronounced that. My apologies. Anyway, they got $1.5 million to, quote, advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities. What else did Mr. Musk found that my colleagues don't want to talk about? Well, he reviewed a study and then went and checked it. The study was done by the Middle East Forum. They found that USAID spent $164 million to support radical organizations around the world. We're not talking Cub Scout troops here. We're talking about radical organizations around the world. They gave $122 million of that to groups aligned with foreign terrorist organizations. Our taxpayer money. According to this report in Mr. Musk, the USAID has given millions of dollars to, quote, organizations in Gaza controlled by Hamas. Why aren't my colleagues talking about that? Recipients of the money, they found, have, quote, called for their lands to be cleansed from the impurity of Jews. That's what we're giving foreign aid to. What else? I'm not going to spend my whole time talking about this, but nobody else is talking about it. They're just talking about the process and Mr. Musk, and he's a mean guy, and he shouldn't be looking at our spending. Well, he is. And I kind of find what he's found out interesting. He found that we gave $2 million, USAID did, for sex changes in Guatemala. He found that we gave $20 million to produce a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. He found that we gave $4.5 million of taxpayer money to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. He found that we gave $10 million, USAID did, of meals to an Al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group called the Nusra Front. Mr. Musk found that we gave $7.9 million of taxpayer money to a project that would teach Sri Lankan journalists to avoid binary gendered language. The USAID took $8 million and gave it to a bunch of journalists in Sri Lanka to teach them how to avoid binary gendered language. I don't know what the hell binary gendered language is. I think I do. You think most taxpayers would support that? Why aren't we talking about that? The USAID gave $1.5 million to promote LGBT advocacy in Jamaica. They gave $1.5 million to rebuild the Cuban media ecosystem. They gave $1.5 million for, quote, art for inclusion of people with disabilities in Belarus. Another $3.9 million for LGBT causes in Macedonia. $8.3 million for equity and inclusion education in Nepal. I could go all night. And many of my colleagues are upset. They're really mad at Mr. Musk. Hell, I think we ought to give him a medal. All he's doing is what President Trump said he was going to do. President Trump said he's going to audit the spending. So Trump goes and hires Musk, again with the top secret security clearance. Nobody can quibble with his intelligence. You know, the guy's as smart as Einstein's cousin.
That's pretty deep on how much money that they giving away. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna end it there because I gotta leave out. Oh, going forward, baby. Thank you. You're so sweet, generous. Thank you so much, sister. I appreciate that. Thank you. So my thing is this, because I do have to leave before we're supposed to be getting this 5 to 8 inches of snow.
Better you than me.
I know. But that's spending. So I say to the Democrats, Trump left office in 2021. Okay. He's now back in 2025 and he's doing an audit. Miss Crockett, can you explain these items during your next congressional show off? Okay. Explain these line items, and why. I really think, Miss Crockett, you should walk up to Elon Musk and hand him the damn medal, pin it on him. Because you're not raging. You rage about Trump. You're in a raging hell. Are you going to rage about this now? On your party's watch. Because if the Republicans didn't come out and explain these line items as to where the people's tax dollars are going, we would know. Because you damn sure ain't speak about them or rage about them or put on your show like you do in Congress every day. This is what you should be bitching about. And then you jump up and you're talking about white tears. I get it, sis. Yeah, we all had to work hard being brown people, twice as hard. I had to do the same thing and I'm still doing it to the point where it affects our health. But if that was a white guy that said, I'm tired of black tears, he would have to step down from his damn position as a congressman, right? He can't say a white guy that's a senator or congressman can't say publicly that they're tired of black tears. But you can say you're tired of white tears and not be asked to step down from your goddamn position. So we can say it publicly. You're tired of white tears? But the white guy can't say he's tired of black tears, because then he has to apologize to the American people for saying he's tired of black tears. And he got to step down from his damn position. Yeah, I like playing it fair. If white people can't say it, you can't say it either. So you're not representing me when you say you're tired of white tears. You're wrong. And you don't speak for me. Hell, even if I was a Democrat, I wouldn't even say that kind of shit in public eye during Congress. You're watching YouTube too much. Don't act like us, because we ain't in Congress. Cut the acting out to get our attention.
You're right,
Take
Sister
your
Betsy.
take your professionalism serious as a brown woman. You're acting like they want you to act. But they're going to stand behind your ass if somebody jumps up in the Republican Party or Independent Party and say, oh, hell no. She can't say that. She's tired of white tears. Your ass shouldn't even be in your job, because a white boy or a white girl wouldn't be in their damn job if they're speaking like that publicly. They give you a little power. The wigs get bigger and bigger.
I don't know, but I don't know everything. I just think that people ought to listen to where their tax dollars are going. That guy was blatant, he was clear, he was firm, and somebody can go and they can look that up and see where the tax dollars are going. And it's ridiculous. We're paying for all this unnecessary stuff that we should not be paying for. We should have a low federal tax. Even if we pay taxes, it shouldn't be where it's at. It should be much lower, or it should be eradicated, like he's saying, and we should be just working on a state-to-state level to take care of our own individual states. That way we're putting America first. If you want to donate to another state or whatever, that's if that money's gonna get there. We don't know where that's money going. Do it at your local stores, grocery stores, or whatever it is, where you could donate $1 or $5, $10, whatever it is, because you feel confident and you want to give your money to overseas. I don't think we should be spending so much money overseas. I don't see any resolution or anything in that.
But why we do it, right? We give all these monies to these foreign countries, and it's based on America's need to have something on that body of land, whether it's Yemen, whether it's Sri Lanka. I've been to those places, Sri Lanka, Yemen. I've been there, and so because we want to have interest in whatever their minerals or whatever they process from their grounds, that's where they spend the money at. Now,
Yeah, but it's like, oh, sorry.
I'm not justifying for no binary language and no $1 million to train people how to talk without saying male and female, because that's all we are. I'm not justifying that,
but that is the issue. So the USAID isn't necessarily going to just feed someone who's like or amputated or something like that. They're going to promote a specific agenda to all these foreign countries and to promote this homosexuality. And so it's not like the money is just going over there because somebody's hungry. The money is going over there to manipulate either the media or the people themselves, or actually just give sex changes. And I don't see how that influences the people of the country when most in most countries that's not the norm. So I think that, and I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I think that that's what they use on us to tell us, oh, it's diplomacy. It's because no, they're there to spread a certain agenda, and then some of those people they pick up and they bring back here to the United States. And so a lot of these people, that's how they claim asylum, is by saying they're homosexual. So
Yeah, and I'm gonna
I don't
skip my
agree with any of that. I think it
yeah.
ought to stop. We don't need to be sending no money nowhere. It needs to just be
Facts.
no. I don't see it. I
Shit to be
understand
canceled.
you're not saying you agree with it. I did hear you, sis, but I personally don't.
I believe that our tax dollars, we do need our tax dollars to fund our military because we need our militia protection and other things here in the US where we shouldn't even have any qualms about how much money is being spent in our wars or whatever. I don't have an issue with that. My closing statement again is, if I'm Kurt, I'm gonna mute you because you got a loud background. Our funds should be spent here. Trump stated that he will come to the people, him and Elon, to get the support he needs. We voted you in office. You come to us if you have to. We're here to support you. All of us who voted for you and put you back in office, we former Democrats, we put you in office and we're going to be here to support your agenda. And that's a fact. What's her name? Jasmine. You need, like I said, to go and pin the damn medal on Elon Musk. Because why are you mad? Why are you mad? He's giving you information that you didn't even see as a damn congresswoman on the line item. And Kennedy said he didn't know it either.
I
So
noticed
these
that when he said that.
agencies are doing shit and they don't, the Congress don't even know it. So if he didn't know it, how did they get passed? Because the budget has to be passed by Congress.
That's why they always pass
How
a
was that
partial.
hidden from Congress? Do they not read the line items?
Hell no, they give you a packet of 2,000 documents. You think you're gonna read a 2,000 document budget? No, they ain't. They're gonna look at some of the meat and pass that shit through. Whether it was
And
possible, whether it's positive or negative, they're gonna pass it through. So
and that 2,000-page document that you're talking about, they gave it to them like 5 minutes before midnight or something. And then they have to vote on it the next day. It comes out at the very last moment. So you're right about that.
So my
that's
thing,
been the whole problem ever since. For a long time, these documents, the packages is too thick, and they say pass the budget. So that's why you always hear them see them pass a partial, but we'll pass it for 90 days. That's why they do it. Every 90 days they're doing it, right? It's nothing new. They've been doing it. I worked civil service for the federal government for 10 years, and every year it's the same shit. So
facts.
that's the game that they play, and I yield.
And I say to Jasmine, look, sis, your beautiful self. You come for my president, I'm coming for yours. Bottom line. But I know you're going to wake up, Jasmine, and smell a coffee like I did. You are. And my last closing statement is, look, nobody's coming together to do anything like we speak about on YouTube. It's been a couple of years. I say go back to your ancestral states and help build them up to be strong because our ancestors were originally Republicans. Let's go back because we've been put asleep by the Democrats for a long time. Long time. I say we go back to our ancestral states, okay? Because we're all fresh and new. We're so many generations away coming back. And let's rebuild the South. Let's make the South powerful. and resourceful. That's my closing statement. I'm going to get out of here, you guys. I love y'all so much.
Peace.
I do. I love you, Isness. I love you, Alika.
Peace.
Jarius. Love y'all. Love everybody in the chat. Love y'all. And I'll see y'all soon. I'm
Peace.
on
All love,
jury.
Sister Happy.
I'm on jury duty, so we got 2 more
Aw.
days to go. Yeah, I got selected. I can't believe I got selected. But yeah, I got 2 more days to go, Monday and Tuesday, and then it's supposed to be over. So great
Of course you're
experience.
gonna get selected. They checked everything. I would have selected you too. I need an open mind.
I'm gonna 2 more days. So it's a great experience. Again, I love you guys, and I'm gonna get out of here because I want to get out and get back home before this horrible storm. So you guys take it easy, okay? Be safe, and I'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day.